We've got the money, we've got the team, and we've got the property. And I think I'm really looking forward to good things next year.
Joining us for a conversation is Dr. Roger Moss, the CEO of Labrador Gold. Dr. Moss, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks very much, Maurice. It's been a while, but I'm really happy to be back.
Well, it's a pleasure to be speaking with you today to discuss the 2022 outlook for Labrador Gold, which is celebrating a banner year on the flagship Kingsway Gold Project. Before we begin, Dr. Moss, please introduce us to Labrador Gold and the opportunity the company presents to shareholders.
Yeah, sure thing. I think Labrador Gold was, well, in its present incarnation, started about 4 years ago, and with looking for gold up in Labrador, and we worked on 3 projects up there. We've gotten rid of 2. We still have 1, the Hopedale project, which is a great project in itself. Large property package up there of Greenstone Belt that's really been underexplored for gold. But obviously the key now, with all the attention being in Newfoundland and the Gander area, is our Kingsway project. And I think that's what the real value proposition is for your shareholders, or our shareholders, your listeners. And that's I think we've been working there now for about 18 months. We're getting a handle on the geology, the structures. We've had some good success. We've built a really good team, and we've got lots of money in the bank to continue next year. So, I think that's really the value proposition. We've got the money, we've got the team, and we've got the property. And I think I'm really looking forward to good things next year.
Well, speaking of the Kingsway project, Dr. Moss, take us to the central Newfoundland gold belt along the Appleton Fault Zone and reacquaint us with the value proposition before us on the Kingsway Gold Project.
Kingsway project, when we first acquired it, what struck me and what really excited me about it, even back in March of 2020, was the fact that this Appleton Fault Zone, which, as we all know, is associated with many of Newfound Gold's gold occurrences down to the south of Kingsway, and that fault zone, which even back then seemed to be a pretty major controlling structure for gold mineralization, ran through the Kingsway project. So it was, for me, it was something that I thought, if this area is going to explode, as it turned out to, this is the property that I wanted, because it was adjacent to and contiguous with Newfound Gold's Queensway property, but also it had 12 kilometers of this Appleton Fault Zone. And I think what we've done in the past 18 months since we've been exploring there is we've demonstrated that gold mineralization that we hear about and read about on Queensway certainly extends onto the Kingsway project, is also associated with the Appleton Fault Zone. And we can get into those into the exploration that we've done along the Appleton Fault Zone, but I think it's going to be a really prolific fault zone for gold mineralization.
Now, Dr. Moss, I'm just as anxious as you to discuss the outlook for 2022. But before we do, let's revisit some of the key milestones that define 2021 as a banner year for Labrador Gold, beginning with consecutive financing with capital funding by Eric Sprott.
Yeah, well, that was certainly a surprise. That came about just after we'd started our 10,000 meter drill program, which I think we started drilling on April 1st, which was, and any fool can start a drill program on April 1st, I guess. But about a month later, I got a call from Newfound Gold, and they were proposing that Newfound Gold and Eric Sprott would do a private placement with us. And I was a little reluctant at the time, because we already had about $10 million in the bank, and this was another contemplated $10 million. So, but after discussing after discussing this with both Denis Laviolette and Eric Sprott, we decided, yeah, okay, this is something that we should do. And so we got another 10 million in the bank, which put us up to 20 million. And we continued drilling. We increased our drilling, proposed drilling program from 10,000 to 20,000 meters on the back of that. And then I got another call, this time from Eric, saying that he wanted to own more of Labrador Gold because it was the one company that he didn't feel like he owned enough of in Newfoundland. And as you know, Eric has been investing in most of the juniors in Newfoundland and has significant positions in many of them. So he wanted to increase his holding in Labrador Gold as well. And again, it was, well, really, how much cash do we need? And he persuaded us that no, you guys are going to have to do a lot of drilling, and you should probably take a little bit more. And so we did. And and Newfound Gold was involved in that financing as well. So, but what was really good for us was that both of those private placements were done at a significant increase above the trading price at the time. So that was really good, and it showed that both Newfound Gold and Eric had confidence that perhaps Kingsway could deliver the goods. And I think that if we go through the what we did in the past year with our exploration, then I think we've demonstrated pretty much that we have been able to deliver the goods at Kingsway.
Speaking of drilling, much of the financing was allocated towards your ambitious 50,000-meter drill program, testing the Big Vein target, which demonstrated your proof of concept, delivering exceptional, I just have to say exceptional, high-grade epizonal-style mineralization, pristine gold, and regional exploration. Dr. Moss, walk us through your 2021 exploration program and share some of the biggest achievements from your drilling program this year.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, I think after we completed the two private placements with Newfound and Eric, we then had about $35 million in the bank. So we were really cashed up, and we were confident to be able to increase that 20,000 meter program as it was then to 50,000 meters and increase the number of drills to 4. So we decided that we were going to go all out, and I think the results kind of came for us early on. We had some really good we had some really good intersections, and I think what that demonstrated was that we also have near surface high grade gold mineralization at Kingsway of a similar style to what they see down at Queensway, at Keatson Lotto, and Golden Joint. So that was obviously very exciting for us. We were really motivated to go out and find more, and the drilling at Big Vein continued to deliver with numerous high grade intercepts in both the Big Vein zone and also in two other zones which we discovered subsequent to the start of drilling. That's the HTC and the HTC footwall zone. Both of those zones also had some pretty significant intersections. There was one about 44 grams a ton over 4.5 meters in the HTC zone, which was pretty spectacular. I think the highest grade intersection still comes from the Big Vein zone. That was about 275 grams a ton over half a meter. So clearly some pretty significant gold values there in the drill core at Big Vein. So the drilling went on. It was really good. At the end of the year, when we stopped it on December 19th for the Christmas break, and up until then we drilled about 25,000 meters at Big Vein and another 2,000 meters on the pristine target. And that pristine target was one that we developed from scratch, and it was based on these pristine gold grains in till, which we realized because they were pristine, so they hadn't been rolled and bent, and the shapes of the gold grains were still sharp, and they had pointy edges, so they couldn't have traveled very far. And what that meant for us was that even though Big Vein was up ice and could have potentially been a source, had the gold grains traveled from Big Vein to where we took the samples, they would have been rolled into a ball. There would be no sharp edges left. And so that told us that somewhere between Big Vein and those samples, there was another source of gold mineralization, and it was going to be most likely much closer to where the samples were taken. So after a few, after a little bit of follow-up work on those till samples, we started drilling there in November. As I mentioned, I think we've drilled 9 holes, 2,000 meters. None of those, unfortunately, are back from the lab yet, but we're excited to see what we have there, and hopefully we'll have new discoveries to announce there. And of course, our prospecting resulted in another discovery at the Golden Glove, where we had visible gold in quartz vein outcrop, and that some of the samples from there assayed as high as I think it was about 330 grams a ton in a grab sample from the quartz vein. So again, a very significant result based on our exploration methodology. So I think what we've done over the past 18 months since we've been there, we've made 2 discoveries, one at Big Vein, one at Golden Glove. I think we're probably on path to make some more in the new year, and that's what's really exciting for us.
Now, speaking of the lab, how much of the assays are still in the lab, and when can shareholders expect results?
I wish
I have to ask.
I can tell you how many is still in the lab. I think received, so of that 27,000 meters of drilling, I think we've received assays for about 55% of them, or about 15,000 meters. So there's still a lot of core in the lab, and actually I don't even know if it's in the lab. I think it's just still piled up in bags outside the lab waiting to be processed. But yeah, I think certainly in Newfoundland, and from what I understand, around Canada and perhaps around the world, one of the things in 2021 has been the turnaround at the labs, and it's very frustrating for us, because obviously we would prefer to know what our core, what sort of gold contents our core on our rock samples and our soil samples have, so we can actually expedite our exploration programs. But in some ways we're almost going blind, and going by what we can see in the drill core, and what we can tell from the portable XRF that we use in the core shack to try and figure out where the next best hole is going to be. And yeah, it's frustrating, but that's everybody's in the same boat, and it is what it is.
Looking forward now, let's discuss the outlook for 2022 to find out how Labrador Gold plans to keep the momentum going on the Kingsway Gold Project. Dr. Moss, Labrador Gold just announced a 3-prong approach for 2022. What can you share with us?
Well, I think the main thing, Maurice, is that if it works, don't fix it. And we're going to be doing exactly the same as we've done over the last 18 months. We're going to drill. We're going to generate new targets, and we're going to upgrade those targets to drill targets. So our drilling will continue at Big Vein and at the pristine target. We've only really just started at the pristine target, so we've got a lot more ground to cover there. And obviously Big Vein, we're on to something there, and we want to continue both along strike and down plunge to hopefully delineate more of this high grade epizonal style gold mineralization. In addition, I think one of the things that we're really looking forward to, and I suspect some of our shareholders are as well, is drilling at Golden Glove, the new discovery that we made in September, October of this year. That's going to be exciting because a lot has been made about whether the east side or the west side of the Appleton Fault is better, and to be sure, most of the best intersections on Newfound Gold's Queensway property at Keats Lotto, Golden Joint seem to be coming from the east. I think they would agree with that. They do have intersections on the west, as do we at Big Vein, but for some reason, maybe the east side of the Appleton Fault seems to be a little bit better, higher grade, longer intersection. So we're hoping that's certainly the case at Golden Glove, and we've done some preparation work. We've done ground geophysics there, and we've done soil sampling. I'm hoping we'll get the results of the soil sampling early next year, and the results of the geophysics as well. And then it's a matter, our drill permits have been in for a while. We hope to have those back soon, and that's going to be one of the things that we're going to be looking at this year, because there's a lot of ground on the east side of the Appleton Fault there around Golden Glove that could be followed up if we have any success. Just to kind of put that in the picture, if you remember, Golden Glove was very close to our southern boundary with Newfoundland Gold, and so any success there, we can follow up towards the northeast along that trend. So I think that's going to be something to watch in the new year. And then finally, we're going to. I think we have a good methodology. The team knows what needs to be done, and we do it without taking shortcuts. And I think that's important. Like there's always going to be people that want to drill, and we're in the fortunate position that we have the money to drill and that we're drilling targets, but at the same time, we're generating new targets using the same, I think, tested and successful methodology that we've used over the last 18 months to come up with new targets. So I think with a three-pronged approach, drilling where we currently are drilling at Golden Glove, and the continuing to do that grassroots exploration really well, I think 2022 will be as good or better than this year.
Sounds like we're going to have some continuous news flow, and as a shareholder, I'm looking forward to that. Switching gears, let's look at some numbers. Dr. Moss, please provide the capital structure for Labrador Gold.
Yeah, so we have about 154 million shares outstanding. Warrants are about 40 million, ranging from about 30 cents to $1.06. It's all Canadian funds. About 7 million options, I think, and I think they range from about 10 cents to $1.24, somewhere in that range. So altogether, we're just over 200 million shares fully diluted. As you mentioned, Derek Sprott took part in the financings. He's a major shareholder at just over 12%. Our other major shareholders are obviously Newfound Gold. They have about just over 8%, I believe, and Palisades Gold Corp, who are also involved with Newfound Gold, at about 9%, and then Crescat Capital, who were one of the early funds to participate in our private placements. They have about 7%.
Before we close, Dr. Moss, what would you like to say to shareholders?
Well, first off, I'd like to thank our shareholders for just believing in what we're doing. It's been a great ride so far. I think we get strong support from our shareholders, and I really obviously we wouldn't be here without that support from our shareholders. And I think that I guess what I'd like to say is really, if you thought 2021 was good, wait till you see 2022.
I like that way to close it, sir. Last question, sir. What did I forget to ask?
I don't think there's much. I think we mentioned the cash. We have about 30 million on hand right now, so more than enough to cover all of our planned expenditures for next year, and no debt. So that's all good on that side. I think you usually ask me what keeps me up at night, and I'm happy to say that I still sleep soundly through the night. And I guess if anything keeps me up, it's the anticipation of some visible gold in the drill core. And but of course that's not happening right now because we don't start drilling again till 3rd of January. But no, it's all good, and I'm really looking forward to getting back to work in the new year.
Dr. Moss, for someone that wants to learn more about Labrador Gold, please share the contact details.
Yeah, our website is www.labradorgold.com. You can also check out our YouTube channel, which you can get through from the homepage. The YouTube channel is really good because we put a lot of content up there. A lot of it is sort of behind the scenes, what we're doing out in the field, and for me that's important because it gives shareholders a glimpse at what it's like to be working out there in the field and what we actually get up to on a day-to-day basis. My email is rmoss@labradorgold.com. I'm happy to take inquiries, and also by phone 416-704-8291. So always happy to talk to shareholders, especially if they're happy ones.
Well, you have one of me, sir. Dr. Moss, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Wishing you and Labrador Gold the absolute best, sir.
Thank you very much, Maurice, and the same to you. Always a pleasure to be here.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.